Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Morning, Chris, Rich, Benton, Greasy. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning. Back in Minnesota feels real minus 35. Man, yeah, we're pouring down snow this morning here I'm just south of Houston. Getting a lot of snow. Fun stuff. Morning. Trader Joe, Abel, Mary. Good morning. Let's see what we get going for today. Um, let's check our opening range gap here. We still have this old one here, right? This big old one here. Midpoint is right there. Let me throw on this fib so I can see our midpoints here. Then I want to 417.25. Do want to mark this one. Let's see here. That was on the 16th. Oops. I'm going to leave that there. And then today's over here, we're going to have this one. 647.50. I can barely see that. There we go. All right. Let's drop down here. This is the 5 minute. I'm actually looking for a run up and then a short, but we'll see what happens here. So we have some nice sell side liquidity. If I go to the daily chart, we're kind of in this neutral area still. We left this little bitty fair value gap. We're coming up. We hit this daily fair value gap. So what's going to be important is if we can take these highs or this high. So I'm kind of watching that 15-minute chart here. We have this area of buy side liquidity right up here. Looking at these relatively equal lows for sell side. I'm actually thinking, well, and then we have this this fair value gap right here, this 15-minute one. We're kind of in a good area up here. We don't necessarily, there's a little fair value gap here. We don't necessarily have to reach any higher. That may come later, but we'll see. Right here's a key area for me, this 15-minute gap. So we'll see if I'm still kind of neutral. Last week I was a little bit neutral. I actually think we may start seeing bullishness. So we'll see. We have some nice sell side liquidity under here. If I go to the 5 minute, you can see it a little bit better. We have right here relatively equal lows. I'm looking at that. So we're above the midnight opening price. So I really would like to see one more push up a little bit higher and get like a breaker down, but don't really need that. You can see here we have this volume imbalance right where this opening gap is, the high of the opening gap. So that's kind of holding. So let's see what we get here. Let's go to this 1 minute. We're kind of in a, if I measure this 7 a.m. low to this high we made, look at that, right at equilibrium there. So I definitely want this to go up first if I'm looking for a short. And right now because I'm kind of neutral, I'll wait for a draw first, a draw on liquidity, and then a reversal. Which means it could run the sell side first and then make its way up to that buy side. So we'll see. I'm kind of neutral. And I'm neutral. I just got to kind of sit back and wait. because it delivered pretty well to this upside. Um, yeah. So we'll see. We'll wait and see a little bit here. Let's go to the weekly chart. You mark out my last week high and low here. Last week high. Lock that in. Last week low. Lock that in. And I accidentally erased everything off my charts. I typically leave stuff on there, but like these high key levels, this is the monthly. So this is going to be my last month's low. And my last month's high, which I believe that's all-time high there. Where'd it go? There we go. Lock those. Yeah, I did something and accidentally erased everything on my charts. We are hitting the new day opening gap right now for today. And then the new week opening gap is going to be around 601, which is right here around that midnight open. So no Shadow Tuesday, is that what it is? All right, we are taking this 15-minute fair value gap. I have a very good draw down to this. Well, there's sell side liquidity already. Well, that's my first. So I had two areas. I had this sell side liquidity, and then I had a lower one down here. So this would be the first. I guess you can call it a minor. So we'll see if we sweep this area and head up to that buy side, or if we're gonna just run all the way down there. Where's 9 a.m.? Because after 9 a.m., you want to see it make some relatively equal highs. This is a bit of smoothness here. This is going to be some minor buy side liquidity up here if it so happens to sweep the sell side. We have some nice looking buy side, some decent buy side liquidity up there. So yeah, I want to see if this is just going to be a sweep here and then run up. Or if we're going to keep going down. We're likely to come down to this new week opening gap, though, in my opinion, which is right around here, right below the midnight opening price, that London low. Yep, nice and cold outside. It's like 28 degrees, I think, over here. I know it's not negative 35 like Tyler. Hello, Max. Good morning. We have this volume imbalance right here as well, so I want to keep my eye on that. All right, this lower 15-minute fair value gap. Let me check the 1 hour real quick, see what's going on here. Yeah, see, this is just pretty nice up here. But right now, what I don't want to do is get too fixated on one side or the other, because there are some economic factors that could be changing, right? The trajectory of the markets. For one, we have a brand new president in office yesterday. So, I mean, that could change things. We were looking bearish, and then we started looking like we may turn bullish, but we kind of became neutral, in my opinion. And right now, I'm just waiting to see, like, we're in this area where I need to see this low taken or this high right here taken for me to switch back to bullish or bearish overall. Because we do have this little bitty fair value gap right here. And all this could be on the daily is just a pullback up to this area up here. But then we still have some areas up here that are remaining unbalanced. Like it never rebalanced this big fair value gap here. We have this volume imbalance here. So there's a lot of reasons why it could go up. And that's why I'm kind of neutral at the moment. So, yeah. There's a lot of news next week, I believe. Not this week. But next week, there's quite a bit of news. See, we're about to take this low. So what I really want to see now is I just go ahead and take this low. You have London low. You have this sell side liquidity, the opening range gap, the low of that. Just go ahead and take that and sweep it and then look for a reversal. So part of what I was trying to do this year too is I've mentioned it quite a bit, where like I want more tools in the tool bag, right? I want to be able to take different types of trades, but the reversal trades, those are just like the best thing for me, where as long as I have it framed out, then waiting for the draw somewhere and then looking for a reversal, those have just been my bread and butter. And I'm kind of like, as I keep looking and studying, I'm kind of just coming to the acceptance, I guess, that maybe I just need to only look for those. Because the times that I try to get continuations, it's been a little rough. Because I feel like I'm pretty good at spotting the reversals and knowing like when there's a true market structure shift, when there's, it's actually going to go the other way. And because I only go for low hanging fruit, like 30 to 60 points, typically it works out. So, but yeah, there's just a lot of area of smoothness back here. If I'm just looking at this 5-minute chart, like up here delivered nice, dropped, rebalanced, pulled up all the way up here. Yeah, there's some nice buy side liquidity up here. But with all this smoothness over here, it may run through that first. I don't think it would just stop right there, although it could. Let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, see, I'm kind of surprised when it just run out this bottom here. So that's why I think I'm pretty good at reversals. Because like now, if we get what looks like a reversal, like a market structure shift, fair value gap, all that, until it takes these lows, I probably wouldn't be interested. And I've noticed a lot of times that's when those fail, when you get faked out into a market structure shift reversal pattern when it still hasn't reached its draw all the way. Like it got close, but I have seen where close is good enough and it does go the other way. So it's either be patient and accept that it could run away or just wait. Because like I could even, let's see. Where's here? 7 a.m. That high. So if I go from this high we made to our 7 a.m. low and draw out my deviations, we went to the 0.5 already. That's typically my where I'm expecting price to get to, at least the 0.5 to the -1. So we still have room to the -1, which is down here at 549, but it did make it to the 0.5, so, and the London low. So we'll see what happens there. Then also I want to draw out the opening range gap and see if I expand on that. The 0.5 would be down here, 520, and the -1 at 457. But the opening range gap isn't, let's see, how big is that? 584, 711. Yeah, it's pretty big. Back to the 1 minute here. And this one's going to be our first presented fair value gap. So go ahead and mark that. Which means this is an inversion, 15-minute inversion. Bullish SMT divergence on the 15-minute chart. Let's see. I really don't pay attention to divergence very often, or SMTs with ES, or let's see. Low, lower, low. Oh, you said 15-minute. Yeah. Yep. There's a SMT divergence for sure. You got a higher low on ES right there. And then NQ on the 15-minute, you have a lower low. Yep. Good eye on that. So that could be our signal that we're going to go up. Might get a fair value gap right here. We have this big inversion right there. And we did come down to the midnight opening price. We have this nice buy side up here. Let's see if we get this fair value gap. There's that volume imbalance as well. But I think we run up to that buy side. Two minutes or 1 minute until 9:50. All right, we got this fair value gap here. Hitting that first presented fair value gap. I'm not going to go long as when we touch this 1 minute. I want to see if we come down to this inversion or even this. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I might actually go long here. I'm going to see if we come down to this area first. That 1 minute fair value gap may be holding. because it's right inside, back inside the range of that sell side liquidity. So that may be a good entry there. Let's see. It's 950 now. Yeah, because it closed up in this fair value inversion and kind of already came down and did its work in the middle of it. So it may not come back to it. I'm watching the open of this bar right here as well. This may be our order block. I want to see it build up some type of support somewhere here. I want to wait just a little bit because I don't want it to just want to drop down into here. I want to make sure it's in fact going to hold this area. Yeah. It's equilibrium here of this range, 9 a.m. range. Yeah, this one may go without me. Hitting that volume imbalance right there. I think if we come back in this 1 minute fair value gap again, then I'll probably go long, depending on how hard it comes back down into it, if it does. Rejected twice in this area. Because I'm also watching this area as I don't want it to that be our rejection point and then continue down since we didn't quite clear this sell side liquidity. That's kind of my concern. So we'll see. I'm going to wait for this here. This little push down and see how price reacts. Yeah, see? That's why I was hesitant. That is why I was hesitant. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. So don't think I'm like expecting this at all. But this is why I was hesitant because I didn't want price to reject in this area. Loss, Chris? You got in a trade? And because this is also why I said I wanted to wait because I didn't want it to reject in this area and want to sweep this low, this sell side liquidity, since we didn't get that sell side liquidity sweep. And now it's going for it. Oh, man. You went long, Chris. Gotta wait. Gotta wait. There we go. Now we're sweeping sell side liquidity. Let me get rid of this. Clean that up a little bit. That's what I was saying. It doesn't make sense why price would stop right here and get so close and not take the sell side liquidity. Yeah, I hope you didn't get slippage on that, Chris, because that was just nasty. That was nasty. Like, that was nasty. Man. I mean, to be honest, I don't blame y'all for going long there because it did. I mean, it looked fine. I was just right here. This was my concern, is that we hadn't taken the sell side liquidity yet. Yeah, that'd have been a good sell off that first presented fair value gap. But and that volume imbalance, but that's not my entry model to sell here. So that's why I didn't. But here we go. So this is the move I'm looking for. Sweep sell side, then go. I mean, it might not happen, but that's what I'm really looking for. And what happens is with this right here, what this low, what happens here is that we get so close to that sell side, and then you get people going long from here thinking this is support. They say, well, we got support. So then they put their stops under there. So this run up, then we're going to have a stop hunt to the short side. And this is going to be a stop hunt. And then it clears the way for it to go long. Maybe. I mean, it might not. It might keep going down, but see if this fair value gap gets reclaimed. Because we may. This is going to be that key area because this that sell side liquidity. So this is where I'm wondering or waiting to see if we push down into this old opening range gap or not. Because I do have reasons to go both ways, to either go long or short. So I just got to wait for it to be obvious. All right. So this could actually be a huge breaker pattern for me. Because we have this low, high, lower low, and if we take this high up here, we'd have a big, huge breaker pattern. Not convinced yet, but because see, if I'm looking like the market opened and we went down, right? So remember, the market always manipulates first before it makes its actual move. So if you have sell side liquidity and buy side liquidity, you have liquidity on both sides, pretty clear. It's going to manipulate to one and then run the other way to the other. I mean, typically, nothing is certain, as we know. So we might get that 10 a.m. reversal here. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm going to mark out this one and see if this gets inverted. I'm not concerned about this fair value gap anymore. Because now I would want to see if this gives an inversion here or not. We are getting a 15-minute small opening bar fair value gap right here. In that same area. So it might not. It might just drop. That was last week's high. I mean, if it is going to remain bearish, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Just be patient now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, Benton. Benton said he would like to see it close down below the sell side liquidity, like one more time down before, which, I mean, that I would not be opposed to that because then also we would have a low, high, and if it came back down and closed down here, a lower low. And then if we take this high, then we'd have a breaker down here to go a bullish breaker. So we'll see, because I like right now, I really don't have much of a narrative to continue down other than this old opening range gap. So that's possible. I mean, I guess, yeah, we have this low 371 inside this 1 hour fair value gap, but it's just not very crystal clear right now. The most obvious now is these highs for me since we took these lows. But it's not crystal clear. So just waiting. Yeah. I have those on this other chart here. New week opening gap. Let's see. Got quite a few of them here. Some old ones. I'm trying to. So I'm in between here on what I want to do. Because that chart, that setup, I have a tab for new week opening gap and a tab for new day opening gaps. And what I was doing for the last few months is I was literally putting all of them on there. And that way I can refer and look and say, okay, we're close to a new one or we're close to some old ones, because it still respects them. But then I've been kind of like, well, going through 2024 mentorship again, he really says on the new day opening gaps, the last 5 days are going to be the best, and the last 5 weeks for new week opening gaps are the best, to really focus on those. But then he says they're always good as long as price is respecting them. So I'm kind of like, do I want all of them? Do I want some of them? Do I want to just on my main trading screen here just put that 5-day rule on here and then leave the others on the other screens? I'm kind of keep going back and forth on that. So I don't know. Because sometimes if it's on another screen, especially those are on my top right screen. I have 6 screens and it's on my furthest top right screen. And sometimes I forget to kind of look up there, especially I have a light right here for my streaming, like a big bright light. So when I look at that screen, it kind of blinds me. So I notice I don't look at that screen as often. Yeah. Yeah, Benton, I was doing that too. And I've gotten to where now, like even right now, how my chart's looking, that feels cluttered to me. And so I've gotten pretty bad about not wanting to see a lot on my chart. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. I just need to not forget to refer to them. That's all. However I can do that. Hmm. And we very well could. Yeah, I'm just right now today. I'm not confident on anything at the moment. So I just have to sit out for the moment, because right now I can definitely see it continuing down. But I would really prefer to see that go ahead and try to take that buy side. And look for that reversal. We're just hovering, staying right around that midnight opening price. London lows here. The opening range gap low is here. That sell side, we poked through one more time. Let's see if what we do. Let me get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Funny how price went right back up to that. I want to see, since this down close bar here was the one that went all the way through sell side liquidity. Curious, I want to watch this in case price does make its way up. If this becomes an order, if this is an order block. So what I would want to see, if price does come back up and close above the open of this bar right here, I would like to see, it may not, but I would like to see if it builds up support here or at the midpoint right here. But it has to close above it first and come up for me to even like consider that. It might not. That's just something I'm kind of looking at just in case, because I'm looking at this down move, right? Like this down move, you had this bar close here, and then this bar is the one that pierced through sell side liquidity and closed right here. And we have not been able to come back lower just yet. We haven't yet. So if we come back up and close above this high here, I'd be very interested to see if that starts building support right here. So I'm going to kind of watch that. Oh, Max, your trades are not copying? Why is that? Do you have the wrong leader selected or something? Okay, so look, we did close above the high here. So now I want to see if we start building support around this right here. 597. Here, let me do this. 597.25. So we can see it a little more clear. Here. This purple. And then here. So basically, this high, or this bar right here, which is the open of that bar, in this mid, if we can start building, which we kind of did here, but if we can now hold support here, then we may be looking at an order block right there. Again, I don't want to force anything. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good way to see if it's going to copy. Not sure what happened. Yeah, just make sure you have the right instrument. That's one of my things that I get messed up more often than not, is if everything is on, I have my leader, then sometimes I'll notice my instrument selected wrong. That's been like my biggest mess up whenever it comes to the copy trader. All right, so look, it's coming back down. Let's see. Here, let me zoom in so we can see what happens here. We want to see if it builds support here, right here, or right here, or anywhere in between. There's no fair value gap or anything. So I need something. I don't enter just on one order block, especially if it's a potential order block. All right, Max, have a good one. Thanks for joining here today. So let's see if we're building some support right here. This is where I want to see. So now if this is an order block, I really don't want to see it like do this right here in here. Like I want to see it hit, if it does come in, I want to see it hit the midpoint, mean threshold right here. And yeah, I could start building some support, but I really don't want to see it trade below this midpoint here. And I don't want to see it go too much further down. See, the body's closed right here. So let's see. And then if it does build support, I want to see displacement up with a fair value gap. If this were to hold. So then then I would know, okay, this is an order block. Then we can invert this one, create a new fair value gap with displacement, and have basically 3 PD arrays. But I'm not sure it wants to play. Not sure it wants to play good for us here. Yeah, no. Because it shouldn't be doing this. If that was an order block, it wouldn't be doing this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and scratch that idea. We got that lower low that closed down here. Let's see what it does. It could just keep going. Yeah, I definitely need that. Market structure shift, all the good stuff to go long. Now, we did just create these relatively equal highs here as well, but it's definitely, let's see, where could we be drawing to? We're hitting this 5-minute fair value gap right now with this wick down. We have a little volume imbalance right here as well. So this 0.25 that I have measured is from this opening range gap right here, this huge one. This is the 0.25 upper quadrant of that. So I'm curious to see if we'll make it down to the midpoint or if we'll hit this 0.25 and kind of what we'll do. Then we also have this one back here that never closed through either. This one is the one that had that 187 level, I think is what it was that I kept talking about. Let's see. Yep. Or what was it? No, 183.25. That was the one right here that I kept talking about. And we never got there. We got so close. 186 and 187. Never got there. All right, now it looks like we're hitting that. We hit that 0.25. See, if I really believed we're going to hit that, I mean, yeah, these areas up here were good to go short, but I wasn't very, or even this first presented fair value gap, that wasn't it for me. So this might turn into another no trade day for me. Man, January's been slow for me. Very slow. But at least it's not red. Older daily volume balance. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, right here. Yeah. And look at the daily candle right now. It's a very neutral candle, right? Look at the wick all the way up. Look at the wick all the way down, and look how small the body is. Explains why I'm very neutral today, and I don't really know. Like I said, I'm like, I can see it going either side, whatever. Look, I mean, the daily candle right here shows proof of that. So it is what it is. I don't know. I got about another 15-ish minutes here, and I'll hop off if I get nothing looking good. Now, again, this could be some manipulation to expand further high. I mean, because if I am getting along, I do want it to draw short first. Because at this point, I am basically only looking for a long. If it never happens, then I'm not going to take a trade. Because, like I said in the beginning of the stream, I've come to the realization that I'm not good at spotting and knowing when the continuations are going to happen. Like this, like if price opened and dropped, like I'm not good enough of knowing. I guess let me put it this way. It has to be very, very, very obvious for me to take a continuation trade. Like I need to see something very obvious on a higher time frame that we're going to go to, and nothing on the other side. So basically, like in this example, a short, right? For me to take a short, I would have needed to see extreme obvious reason below and absolutely zero reason for us to go back up. Then I'd consider it. Other than that, I'm not good enough to be like, yep, we're not going up here anymore. We are going to continue down. So for that reason, I just wait. And if we get the whole setup to go back up, then I'll take it. If not, then I'm not going to take anything. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, it keeps it simple for me. Keeps it simple. That's what I like is simplicity. So we did invert this right here. First sign of a market structure shift. Okay. Uh-oh, what did I do? Right here. First sign of a market structure shift. And then we did get this fair value gap overlapping. So I say first sign of a market structure shift, not an actual. Not an actual yet, because we'd have to take these swing highs up here to be an actual market structure shift. But this is a first signal because we dropped, inverted this one, created a new one. So potentially, this is not something I would enter on yet. We do have a double fair value gap right there. So typically, I like to just combine them. And then we have this large fair value gap here. So I want to see if that gets inverted or if we just trade right up to the low of this wick and continue down. So we'll see. But see, now this is a more clear sweep of sell side. Just like Benton, you were saying, came down. Now we closed. All right. So, and immediately making our way back up. So we'll see. Maybe that 0.25 right here is all that we want to go to right now. We closed pretty close to this swing low here. What I could do is if price respects and holds support in this area, then look to take it, just back up to here for some low-hanging fruit, but just wait and see. Also, now I can mark out this high and this low we made. And equilibrium is right here, 631.75. So I typically would like to enter along below that line somewhere. So that way I could target more than likely this volume imbalance again. Somewhere in that area, right up in this area. That way, even if I'm wrong overall, I could be right on the trade. We did invert this. So let's see if we come down here. And I might, if we come down to this fair value gap, I may go long. I don't just long off of inversions. I don't, it's not my entry. I would have liked to see it take these swings first, but I think this is enough of a move down. And you see that the middle consequent encroachment of this big fair value gap here, inversion, is right close to the top of this 1 minute. So that might be where I'll be looking for an entry. But I'm going to wait again because I don't want it to hit here and then just drop like it did back there. I do like how we are above that sell side liquidity here, though. So this may be a good entry right in here around 580. Although what we could see is this remain open. And if we displace up through this swing high right here with a fair value gap, that may be something potential, some potential there. And then I would just have my stop under this low. So we'll see. See how we're kind of building, look where the bodies are closing? Right here at the top of this inversion. So if we could take this swing with displacement and fair value gap, that very well may be my entry. I'm falling down in my seat. All right, let's see. What are we going to do here? Market 1025. The 5 minute looks pretty ugly at the moment, but still building up some support here. Look at this wick right here. This wick that reached down. Look at the middle of it. Right here. We reached right down to the middle of that wick. Just want to note that because we could see it displace up now. Let's see. We're engineering. Looks like we're trying to engineer some like buy side liquidity right all up in this area here. So if we here, I would likely will go long and just probably target right up in this 668 area to 670, somewhere in there. See what ES is doing. YM. YM's always weird. All right, what are we going to do? Are we going to displace up, or are we going to come back down to this area? What are we going to do? I prefer it to come down. That way I'm in the trade when it displaces up. Hopefully. Well, it's being very slow. This inversion looks like it's holding up there. Is anybody else taking a trade today yet? I know Max did. Chris did. It's just slowly creeping up. I don't like that. Yeah, still waiting. Did anybody trade yesterday? Market was open for a little bit. It was a half day. I don't trade half days. Man, it is just rebalancing everything immediately. Like market structure is shifting, but I was wondering what would happen once we take these two highs, equal highs here. If price would want to, what price wants to do. I'm looking at this right here as a potential order block on the 5-minute. This one that reached down. Yeah, same here, Benton. Those are 50-50 for me as well. Especially like this one. Um, it wasn't very obvious price wanted to go up yet. So, and this was a very large move. So for me to take it here, I would have to be okay with price reaching all the way back down into this area and, potentially taking some heat on my trade. So I just kind of prefer to wait. And if I miss it, I miss it. Because when I've taken these like that, then yeah, it's like a 50-50 for me as well. Let's see what it does here at the open of this bar. And then if this 5-minute mark I put here is an order block or not. I do think we'll make our way up here, but I'm just needing an entry. Yeah. Yeah, it combined down here. We overlapped right here and right here. So this area is where I really wanted price to go for an entry. That's why if I would have taken an entry up here at this inversion, I would have to be okay with price coming down there. But this potentially could be an order block, bullish order block, this down bar if if price closes up, but still not really an entry area for me anywhere. Just not a fan of this price action at the moment. And it might do one of its slow creeps all the way up, but maybe not. We'll see. Okay. I do want to see any if on any down bars like that, if I am going to go long, I do want to see immediate rebalances, meaning it goes down, and if it leaves a potential gap that it hits, goes down and immediately rebalances it so it doesn't leave a gap. So this very well could be a 5-minute order block. Look how it's reacted right at it. Like it touched it and came right off of it. Let's see. Like I could have gotten an entry there, but 614, I had my stop right under this swing. That'd have been a small stop, but it's not my entry. And plus, that was the first touch of that, so I needed to see if that was how it was going to react. And it very well could make its way. I just don't like when price action gets kind of stagnant like this. If it doesn't do much here, then I'm going to probably call it because it's already been my time. Yeah, I thought price action would be a lot more volatile for sure. So the open of this one's not building up any type of anything. Could look at the mean threshold of this bar right here where we just hit, which is pretty close to that 5-minute opening bar. That could be an order block. So we'll see if this area builds up some support. But nothing convincing yet. I bet you as soon as I get off the stream, price will go. But also on the 5 minute, if this is an order block, it's a huge bar, right? So price is allowed to go to the middle and it still be considered an order block. And where's the middle? Look where it overlaps, that inversion and that fair value gap. So that may be, a good place right there. See, right here, 576.50. Could wick right down in there. Hitting that inversion again. Yeah, it may do something at the 1050 macro. So, yeah, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to call it here. I'm not liking price action. So, another slow day. Not much going on. Hopefully, the rest of this week gets something. There's a lot of news next week. So, should be getting some trades here soon. So, I'm going to hop off, y'all. I appreciate y'all joining the stream. And if you're going to keep trading, just be patient. All right. See everybody later. Trade well, y'all.